Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm Jonathan Giles, your host as always. On the show this week in breaking transfer news, today Nuno Tavares is on the verge of signing for Nottingham Forest on a season-long loan, while at the weekend Kieran Tierney has joined Real Sociedad on a season-long loan deal. Also on the show this week we will be reviewing our 2-2 home draw at home to Fulham and looking ahead to another big Premier League clash this coming Sunday against Manchester United, live on Sky Sports at 4:30. So sit back and enjoy the show. On the show this week, I'm joined by my regular guests, as always, Eamonn Donnelly. How are you, Eamonn?
Good evening, Jonathan. Good evening, Craig. I was out the back there playing a game of names against the wall there. Going to make a return in the over 80s league there. Had to come in and have a glass of Savage Smith to wash down the thirst. We're okay, Jonathan. Yeah, good evening and good to see you, Craig. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
See you at the weekend, I think.
I'll see you Sunday having a few beers to the United game. I was away in Vietnam, Cambodia and Thailand for the last 3-4 weeks, so I'm back now today and raring to go watch the Arsenal again.
Very good.
Craig was away. Congratulations on your engagement, Craig.
Thanks very much, Johnny. Appreciate that.
No worries. Welcome back to the show, pal. Just like a quick note to listeners and viewers that Craig had another meltdown on Saturday. He departed the WhatsApp group and he'll be taking a sabbatical for a while, like Eamonn did earlier on in the summer. It done him the world of good, so I think, Craig, it could do you the world of good.
They need it sometimes, Eamonn, aren't they? So.
They are indeed, especially on this group, right?
Sort of head out.
Also, before we move on with the show, one of our regular guests from last season, Carl Ozzy Osborne, we all know, our UK-based Gooner, he's just taking a bit of a rest from the show for a while. So I think from all three of us, just a big thanks to Ozzy for his contributions on the show last season. Really great knowledge of the Gooners and good banter as well we had with him. So until we see you again, Ozzy, all the best, and hopefully you'll be back soon.
All the best to Ozzy. He knows I'm thinking of him, and I hope he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's just taking a sabbatical with a few things. So look, he's more than welcome to come back on. He's a great guest to have over the whole of last season.
I think we lost Eamonn for a second there, Johnny.
Yeah, Eamonn will rejoin us. I suppose we start with the transfer news. A few outgoings as we expected, being transfer deadline day week. On Sunday, Kieran Tierney went to Real Sociedad. They're in the Champions League as well, which I didn't know until when I looked up at the weekend. So that could be a good move for Kieran Tierney. If it was half of what went on with Kieran Trippier at Atletico Madrid that time, he came back a different player. And look at him in Newcastle. You never know. Yeah. Maybe loan deal might even change Arteta's mind. You never know. But hopefully this can only progress his career even more. Do you think that's a good move, Craig, in your thoughts for Kieran Tierney?
Yeah, look, it's a good move for Kieran Tierney. A little bit disappointed that we didn't get a fee for him. I thought we might, get 20 to 30 million for Tierney at the start of the summer, especially with the likes of Newcastle and Villa in for him. But look, it's a good move for his career. He needs to play football. He's still a young player. He's not all by any means, and I suppose going abroad for him is probably a good move. Playing Champions League for a decent club, Sociedad, they're always knocking about the Champions League and the Europa League. So it's about game time for Kieran Tierney. Like he's been on the bench the last year. He hasn't really played much for Arsenal at all. Was always a great servant to us. Never let us down. Always gave it 100%. And you can't really fault his commitment. But I just think the last kind of year or so, we've probably moved past Kieran Tierney. Not in the sense that Tierney isn't good enough. It's just the way the team changed, going to invert fullback. I just think it suited the likes of Zinchenko and Ben White more. So I think ultimately that's why he's moved on now. So hopefully he has a good loan there, and this time next year we can get a good fee from, because he's a good player, and he'd be a very good player for any Premier League team.
Yeah, he played 124 times for Arsenal, scored 5 goals, and signed in 2019 for 25 million. So, yeah, he was a good pro for us, and look, you can only wish him all the best in his career for Real Sociedad. They're getting a good left back, whatever the case.
Yeah.
We had Curtis Vela there. Curtis Vela played for Sociedad as well, so we had a few gunners playing for in Spain as well. So all the best to him. Also,
and Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, Martin Odegaard as well. Yeah. Nuno Tavares, I noticed today he's on the verge of hopefully completing a loan deal to Nottingham Forest. Do you think that'd be a good move from Craig?
Yeah, look, again, similar to the Tierney kind of scenario. Like Tavares, a very good young player. Again, doesn't suit really Arsenal at this moment in time. He had a very good loan with Marseille last year. I think the first kind of 5 or 6 months went very well, and I think he fell out of favour towards the end of his loan there at Marseille. I think he's a bit of a I think he has disciplinary issues, and that's the reason why he doesn't really get on with Arteta at this moment in time. But look, it's a good move for him. He stays in the Premier League. As far as I know, Fabrizio Romano said there's an option for Forest to buy him next summer for 12 million, which would be a profit when we bought him for last 2 years ago. I think we bought him for 7 million from Benfica. So it's a profit if they do take the option up next year. But again, I would like to be getting fees for these players. You know, I think although they can go on and do well in the loans, you're kind of kicking the can down the road, and then next year when they come back, they're back to training with us in the summer. You know, there's a scenario where you might have to pay them off then, and the club are losing money. But I suppose with only 4 or 5 days left in the window now, the club needs to get rid of players, and the squad is too big.
Yeah, it looks like following Balogun, hopefully it's only a matter of time where he'll seal his deal to AS Monaco. It looks like it was 34 million they were saying for him, and that really leaves with 2 or 3 days to go. Friday's the deadline day.
Friday, yeah.
Rob Holding, Sambi Lokonga.
It looks like Rob Holding, Sambi Lokonga, and Pepe left to go. Pepe and Cedric are kind of left to go. 4 players.
Yeah.
But again,
do you see deals going through for them, Craig? Pepe still seems to be the one where clubs aren't really interested, isn't it?
Yeah, like I out of them 4 players, I'd say probably all of them will go. In terms of getting fees for some of them, I'd say you might get a low fee for Pepe from Saudi Arabia, and then you know, you might get 7 or 8 million for Rob Holding. I know I've seen that Sevilla and Luton Town are in for Rob Holding. So I don't know if I was going to say in England or really go to Spain, but and then you're looking, you know, I don't think you're going to get a fee for Lokonga. I think he could go on loan to Brighton. I think he's been linked with them for a year, and that'd be a great move for Lokonga because Brighton are a brilliant team. Lokonga needs to play. He's only 21, 22 years of age. Again, there's probably a bit of a question mark over Lokonga's attitude. You know, you've seen in the Arsenal documentary, the All or Nothing, Lokonga was giving out about not playing football. You know, and Eddie and Kelly just said, you know, shut up and get on with it. So, look, hopefully it works out with Lokonga. He is a good player. I just don't know whether that's going to happen at Arsenal. And then Cedric, I don't really think you're going to get a fee for him. Do you think we're going to get a fee for them, Johnny? Or
you'd hope to get about 20, 30 million, wouldn't you? Out of Holding Lokonga and Pepe, you know. But it's hard, you know, it's transfer deadline days, so it's crazy. It could possibly just be loan moves for them players as well. You know, you wouldn't get anything at all. But and it's probably looking more likely that it could be just loan deals just to get them off. Just to get them off the team. But
do you hope at least one more comes in, Johnny, and what position would you like that to happen?
I thought Tierney should have stayed really after the injury to Timber.
Yeah.
You know, I think with Tierney having to experience.
I think the club are looking at defensive reinforcement. Who that is now, I don't know. I'd seen links today with Eric Garcia from Barcelona.
Yeah, I heard that today. Yeah.
He used to be with Man City. I think Arteta knows him. Whether they'll get him or not, I don't know. He'd be good cover to have because, you know, if you're out to sell, look, I'm not Holden's biggest fan. I think a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
If Saliba got injured, you know, who are you going to play there? So maybe Tommy Ashley could play there, but Eric Garcia would be good cover, and I think he can play right back as well. So
he done well with Man City, didn't he? He played for
Yeah, I think Pep liked him, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, I was surprised he went.
Yeah, I think he got homesick and he got offered a chance back to Barcelona. So I think that's why he went back there. But I don't think he's played much for them since Koundé has went to Barcelona. So he'd be a good option. I don't know if, again, there's no real solid links at the moment. I think the club are focusing on getting as many players out, say, before Wednesday or Thursday. And you might see a deadline day deal done on Friday, you know. There's another links to right back from Leipzig, Simican. He's a French under 21 player. I think he's very similar to Timber. But again, I think we're looking at about 30 million. So
yeah, I think
the club has spent an awful lot of money this summer. Hopefully a loan can come in, you know. And the only other position that I would like to see someone come in is maybe right wing to give Saka a bit of competition.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now, okay, lads? By the way.
Yeah, welcome back, Eamonn. Welcome back.
Yeah, I've been back listening away to Craig there, but
do you agree, or what do you think yourself?
Yeah, what do you think of Kieran Tierney going to Sociedad, Eamonn? Good move for him.
I think it is a good move for him.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, I think like if you leave Glasgow and come down to London, you know, that's a big move for a young boy that he was when he came down, and I think he's an intelligent boy, and I think he has the smarts to go over there and make it, you know, and he's a very good player. I don't think it was tenable that we'd keep him, because he just wasn't going to get in, whether you agree with that or whether you don't. I don't think it was tenable for the lad himself, you know. So I think, and I'm delighted that that some accommodation was found and he's not rotting away, because he gives you everything, that lad, you know. So very, very pleased with that.
Yeah, it looks like, as I was saying to Craig, I don't know whether you were back in for it, Eamonn, Tavares is going to Forest. That would be another one that they would have got off us after Matt Turner went there. Do you think that'd be a good move for Nuno Tavares?
Tavares was more than a woman, you know. He's more than a woman to me.
A man of wise words.
I find it ironic that Tavares has gone to Forest of all teams, because it was against Forest where he had his absolute nightmare game, and you know, like, but look, again, he's a good attacking back. You could coach him, you know. I mean, when Tierney was absent and he came into the team first, the fans loved him because he was a real have a go Harry, you know. But he's just he's a bit lacking defensively. But there's a player in there, you know.
There is.
Eamonn, can I just ask Eamonn, just Johnny? I asked Johnny as well, Eamonn. I don't know if you heard it. Just in terms of, you know, it looks like a lot of these players are going to be going on loan. Then, are you kind of disappointed that we're not getting featured them, or are you, you know, do you think, look, you have to kind of make room in the squad, or
is Tavares going on loan, or is he being sold?
He's going on loan.
Yeah. All that means, Craig, all that really means is that the architecture wasn't right for the deal at a particular time. A transfer wouldn't have got done by Friday, and you're stuck with him. That's all that really means. So I think, and that's what happened with David Raya coming the other way, by the way. So, you know, from that point of view, I'm not too worried. I think, and Wenger did say this a number of years ago. He reckoned that loan moves, the way the money was switching around football, would become more and more prevalent, and they are becoming more and more prevalent. Um, I suppose it gets the wage bill down and it creates room in the squad. And I mean, people are even beginning to pay for loans now. It used to be a loan. We're paying Brentford 3 million for a loan of a player. That's one way of not paying 45 million. But look, he's we do need to create room in the squad.
Do you see anyone coming in, Eamonn, or any new players?
Do I think anybody will come in?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think we might get one more.
Yeah.
I think he might. I think he might try and get cover for Yuri and Timber, particularly that Tierney's gone. I don't think you'll get what you want on the right wing, Craig. I think there's probably certainly a gap there, all right, but I don't think it's going to happen. You might get that in January. I think he'll try and use what he has to cover that position.
No, I agree with you. I was thinking about it earlier on, but like, even if you wanted to go out and get a right winger, who's going to come to Arsenal? Because they're not going to play much behind Saka, are they? So realistically,
No, but I mean, obviously, if anything happens, Saka, to my mind, Martinelli switches wings, because we've lots of options on the other side.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting transfer deadline week for Arsenal. Anyway, we're normally waiting for incomings, but there's going to be a good few outgoings. So it's going to be interesting. We'll wrap that up on next week's show, all the incomings and outgoings. So stay tuned to Sky Sports News. On Friday they'll have the yellow tie out. No Jim White, sadly, but we'll hopefully have Craig Smith doing her very own birthday. Eamon Donnelly will be with Ken Barlow in the Rovers' return that day and night.
Will be, every Friday.
How was this week, Ken?
So frustrating.
Yes.
We had to go with that last week. He got the first now for the season.
I listened all the way over in Vietnam. I did. It was brilliant.
I tell you, that's some dedication, Eamon. Other side of the world listening to us.
Absolutely.
Telling you, Burma actually goes a long way, Craig. Don't dismiss it.
You did right.
So, as always, we move on to our review of the weekend's game, which was against Fulham. Went into complete meltdown as Craig left the group, so it would be interesting to hear him in a while. It was 2-2, as we all know. Anders Pereira scored the opening goal for Fulham after a poor pass back from Bukayo Saka, but you can't throw much blame on him. He's been just a superstar for us, hasn't he, over the last few seasons? One mistake and they're all entitled. But look, I think Pereira's shot, I don't know about you, but I think he was going to try chip Ramsdale, and he just got lucky and it just went in behind Ramsdale. But look, poor goal to concede after a minute, and we had a couple of them last season. Most notably against Bournemouth was one of them. Pellegrini got their second goal, which was the equaliser in the 87th minute from the corner, which was bad marking, but it was Saka marking him. So look, you can't really. It's just these mistakes just have to be rectified quickly. Goals from ourselves were by Saka, the penalty, which he took really well, and Eddie Nketiah, superb finish, really Roy-esque. In the box, squeezed in between two defenders and really took it well. And I've really been impressed with him in the opening 3 games of the season. He really wants to start every game. He's shown Gabriel Jesus, who's thankfully back. He came on as a substitute appearance, but I think he's going to push him this season. And that's healthy, as Eamon has said last week. It's healthy to have 2 people in each position, ready and willing to slot in when needed. I thought another one who had a good game, I think Eamon referenced this as well. He was very impressed with Fabio Vieira, the opening 2 games of the season. He done really well again on Saturday. I think it was his cross, wasn't it, for Eddie Nketiah as well. Fulham had a player sent off, Bassi, this time wasting is really starting to be cracked down on. His first yellow was for time wasting from a goal kick, and then the second one was a stone wall one, and he completely poleaxed him. I know Craig was saying in the group, Party a right back, it's just not working. But I think when Zinchenko gets more fit, I'm sure for some reason, I don't know why he's not starting Gabriel. I don't know whether is there a potential move on transfer deadline day to Saudi Arabia, or is he just not match fit? Because I thought him and Saliba last season as centre backs were just superb, and I think because we had such a good season last year, the bar's been set so high. I think we all expected to go into the first 3 games winning, going at 100 miles a minute and winning 3-4-0. And it's just been a bit slow of a start, But look, 7 points from our opening 3 games going into the United game, I think we all would have taken that. It's just the way we can see it is the last minute, 3 minutes to go in the second half, just kind of switched off a bit. I thought we would have kicked on after the Eddie and Ketty goal. And we did have our chances. And Leno did make some good saves as well. I think there was one at the very end where he tipped over from Vieira, where it looked like it was going in. So we did have our chances, did have the bulk of possessions as we thought we would have. But it was very like last year's game. It was nearly at the same time last year. We won 2-1. It was Gabriel scored late on, and I thought it was going to happen again, but it happened the other way around. They got the equaliser. They're a good team. They're well set up by Marco Silva, Fulham. But I'll take a point from Saturday. It could have been possibly worse if it was 11v11. Because Adama Traore at the very end had a chance where it came off Ramsdale's head. So very hard to earn point that one. I'll come on to you, Eamon. What did you make of the game on Saturday?
Well, okay, I didn't see the game as it happened because I was at a wedding that was a very Arsenal-based wedding. And I ended up with my phone on the window ledge listening to Arsenal.com. I have watched the game back since.
Yeah.
Okay, last week I spoke about my fear that we were overcomplicating things. And I think that is the case, right? And I don't know whether that's down to the fact that we fell short last year and he's trying to come up with something different, and felt that with the first 3 fixtures we had, that we had an opportunity to do that. The weekend will tell us whether that's the case or not, So it may well be a case where he looked at those fixtures and said, look, over the course of a season, we need to find different ways of doing different things. We might as well try it out in this run of games here, I hope that's the case. Craig is right. Partey at right back doesn't work. And I'll tell you why it doesn't work. Because he was trying to do the inversion role, but Partey is not inverting into the pitch at the same angle or depth that Zinchenko was on the other side. Partey, when he goes into the middle of the pitch, naturally drifts into his normal position as a central midfielder. And that does different things. And as I said last week, that means we've sacrificed Ben White on the right, who had a terrific combination with Saka, and that's lost. So the Partey experiment hasn't worked. He's okay, and it's grand, and he doesn't give anything away and all of this type of stuff, but it just doesn't work. So we've reached the point now where it's a real challenge to the manager. And the reason why it's a real challenge to the manager, and of whom I am a great supporter, for the record, as you all know, but it's a challenge for the manager because he has set that bar now so high with what he did to bring us where he brought us to. I mean, can you imagine? There were people having meltdowns and calling for his head because we got 7 points out of 9. You see, and that's where he's brought us to. Yeah. That is where he's brought us to. There was actually, I could hear it on the audio, a gentle ripple of boos at halftime. I don't mean Berta Moretti now, I'm talking about boos as in the word boo, plural, right? We can't get boos into the stadium, although I think some of the guys would need it. But there was a small bit of booing going on at the end, and I have to say, anybody who's booing that Arsenal team, they really need to go out and watch a documentary on Helvetian architecture during Roman oppression. Do something different. Just do something different, because, let's get real here. For the corner kick, the manager I think the manager has to take a bit of the blame. And again, I emphasise, I'm a big Mikel Arteta fan. He will make mistakes. I think he has to take the blame for the substitutions he made when they went down to 10 players. Was there really a need to bring Jorginho on the pitch? Wouldn't we have been better off playing keep ball in areas where we could hurt them rather than like a game of chess, even though we have an extra man, inviting them further up the pitch? Zinchenko carelessly lost the ball, right? And then from the corner, I know Bukayo Saka is taking a bit of heat, even though he's a superstar. But Declan Rice is to blame as well. He got between the two of them. Declan Rice never moved a leg, which surprised me. You know.
Eamonn, just on your point there, just sorry to cut across. You were saying about Zinchenko making mistakes. It seems like the last 3 games, we haven't been beaten. We're beating ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. The loss of those points, Craig. Sorry, the loss of those points was down to absolute carelessness.
Yeah,
I think it was down to an error on the touchline, but with the substitution. But as Arteta said himself, like if you can't give the ball away like that, it's careless. And this is the point I was making last week. That sometimes happens when you have 76% possession, because you get into a comfort zone where you don't go in for the ball the way you would if it was 50. Like away at Palace the other night, when we were down to 10 players, fellas defended with their lives. Did you see anybody defending with their life for that corner? No, that's because in your mind, you're 76-24 better than them. We've got to get out of that. It was a bit like some of the weaker teams during Arsene's reign, when we'd pass teams off the park and then concede a waxy goal. How many goals did you see trickle by Szczesny or Fabianski and say, that's their first shot? Look, you can't give away a goal in the first minute. You just can't. You just got to, for the first minute of the game, I was actually saying to Brendan Boyle, who was on the show last week, I said, you know what? I said, if the Bohemians under 15s were playing the Bohemians adult team, they'd manage a minute without conceding the goal. You can't concede a goal after a minute, and it's happening too often. I don't blame Ramsdale whatsoever, because he's been encouraged to play as a sweeper keeper. He was in a position to receive the ball, and it was bad execution, right? And he's backpedaling. There's not much he can do. Your man actually shanked the ball. He was trying to curl it up and over him, and he mishit it. I don't agree with Arteta's assessment that we could have won 6 or 7 games. Chances were few and far between. And one of the reasons for that is we're not playing with the same snap or spark that we were. We're taking too many touches on the ball. We're not getting the ball out to Martinelli in particular quick enough. We're not getting it out there quick enough. It's taking too long to shift over, right? And that makes it easy for the defending team. But, that could be a bit of a hangover from going so close last year. And one of these days, it could happen. You give a good performance on Sunday and you're back chipper again. So let's not be too despondent. But it wasn't a good day on the Gabriel thing. I wonder, did he have his head turned? I really do. Because I think he's dropped, not for tactical reasons. And I'm just wondering where it was his agent trying to get him out for a fortune. Because he was pants in pre-season. He was terrible. He looked like a fella who had, he just come out playing for, Ballyfermot United, getting on the pitch. They've only conceded against Man United. It was good by the defender did that. The way he addressed the ball, that looked to me like a fella, he's either not sharp enough or his head has been turned. But again, when Zinchenko comes back, it will tell an awful lot about him, where he is in the plan, if he doesn't get back into the team. I think the manager seems to rate Kivior very highly. So we'll see. So look,
Eamonn, do you expect him to go before Friday?
What's that?
Do you think he'll go before Friday? Because I think
no, we don't. No, we don't.
From what
I think
has happened or did happen, or the reason he's out of the team. Personally, look, I know people are saying it's for tactical reasons, and the manager needs to, create different formations throughout the season, which I understand, fair enough. But we didn't use this formation once in pre-season, to my knowledge, and from what I can gather is that his representatives had talks with the Saudi clubs. I think his head was turned. I think he told the club that he wanted to go, and the club are not going to sell him. So I think personally, I think that's the reason why he hasn't played much the last 3 games. And I presume the club are hoping after Friday.
Friday goes, and then it's not an issue anymore, Craig. You're here, pal, and we're paying you, so you better get your mojo back, pal. And fight your way into the team like everybody else. I think you could be right.
It'd be if Arsenal sold him, Jesus, it'd be crazy unless you get £100 million offer or something like that, and then
they brought me back, Craig.
What about Johnny Giles? I heard he was good at the Emirates.
Overrated, yeah.
We were all overrated, Craig. Don't believe all that hype.
I hear Eamonn's
still available
last week.
Yeah, look, I stood out from the rest, and that was that. I'd just like to say before we move on, Fabrizio Romano, who's well respected with all his transfer chat. It's been said here just a while ago. Nunes Tavares did Nottingham Forest. Here we go. Did agreed with Arsenal on loan until June 24. Understood loan fee will be a bit higher than 1 million plus 12 million buy option. Medical test being completed today. New left back for Forest. So that looks like it's got to go through. Probably be confirmed tomorrow. So that wouldn't be, £12 million. You'd be happy enough, wouldn't you? If you got that for him.
Well, we got him on this week,
Yeah, I think we got him for less than 10 million quid, wasn't it? I think 6 million, was it, or something?
€8 million or £8 million was one of them.
Yeah. I'd be happy with 12 million quid for Tavares, and I think he's probably at that level.
The way he played against Forest that day, you wouldn't pay 8 million Turkish lira for him.
They saw something in him, Eamonn. I tell you, he was drinking that beer Moretti. So just didn't see the best. A hard fought draw. Craig, what did you make of the game? I know you were away in Vietnam, haven't?
Yeah.
Were you at any Arsenal bars, or was it just a sports bar?
No, just sports bars in general, really. I watched the Arsenal game.
Any Arsenal cheers in Cambodia?
Yeah, there was a few Arsenal fans out there.
Was there, yeah?
English, and there was 1 or 2 Cambodian Arsenal fans. So we kind of all sat in the corner giving out about Arsenal. But no, look, it's a bit of a strange game to analyse because, like Eamon said, when you concede in the first minute, your game plan goes out the window, really. Yeah. This is the 3rd time this has happened in out 9 games at home. And I don't know what the explanation is. I don't know who do you blame. Do you blame the manager for the setup? Do you blame the players? It's maybe a mixture of both, but you can't be conceding a goal. There's always a saying is that don't concede a goal in the 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Arsenal don't go over that saying. I don't know if it's maybe to do with the tactics that Arsenal want to start quickly and get a goal within the first few minutes, and they take risks, and that maybe leaves it a bit more open. We started off okay. I thought overall we didn't play great again. I think the first 3 games you haven't really played brilliant, although Crystal Palace we did control the game, but Tomiyasu sending off kind of put us under the pressure for the last 20 minutes or so. But look, Fulham are a decent side, but they lost a couple of players so far during the summer. I know, Willian, who used to play for us, was important, and he's gone on. I think he's gone to Saudi Arabia, and then Mitrovic left him as well. So they're 2 big players for them. But you have to be beating Fulham at home if you want to be going for titles and that. But I can the only kind of positive I can take out of the draw is that I hope the draw refocuses the team and spurs them on and kind of to go on and beat DC United and have them kind of focused for the next few games. I think it was a poor goal to concede initially. Saka made a mistake. Ben White is out of position, so is Partey. I think maybe that's to do with the tactics. that we're using at the moment with Partey playing inverted. Then, as Eamonn was saying, Ramsdale scrambling back. I think he thinks the players are going to chip him, but then he just kind of miskicks it and it goes into the goals, So Ramsdale's very unlucky there. I don't know. I could be thinking a little bit too much into it, but I think there's going to be a change in the goalkeeper after the United game. Personally, I think they might bring Raya in for the Everton game.
I don't know why. Sorry, I'm inclined to agree. I think what they'll do is they'll give him a start in the first Champions League game.
Yes,
and then they mightn't take it out. After what?
Is that the week after the international break that the Champions League starts?
Yes, I think that's what they'll. I think that that would be the natural watershed where you'd say, well, okay, we've two top class goalkeepers. The Champions League game, we'll put him in, and then if he does what he does, you mightn't get him out again.
No, this is it. Like I love Ramsdale. I love his character, and I think he's a big personality in the team. But if David Wright is going to come in and play with his feet better than Ramsdale, and maybe not making some of the mistakes Ramsdale is doing at the moment, then maybe the change should come. But it's a tough decision for the manager because you take a personality like that out of teams, it can kind of upset the dressing room. But look, I suppose in football you're nobody's friend. But look, after the fourth goal, we came back into it. I thought overall Martinelli and Saka had poor games. Probably one of the worst games I've seen both of them play, and didn't really help us going forward. I just personally, I think the Havertz thing isn't working at the moment, where he's playing in midfield. Look, I was critical of him on the weekend, to say the least. I think Havertz is a very good player. I think maybe he's under a lot more scrutiny because of the ex-Chelsea links, where some of the players that came to us, Willian, etc., haven't worked out. I think that's maybe a little bit unfair. His price tag maybe doesn't help him either, 65 million, but there is a player there. I think on Sunday, if he was to make a change and take Havertz out, I think that'd be the right idea, because I think for the Champions League games and that, I think would suit Havertz a lot more than Premier League games at the moment, because he's a brilliant player, but it's just finding the right system for him.
Do you not think? I mean, and this is nothing. I certainly always think our players should be given a chance to blend into the club, and we've had signings in the past that didn't look the cheese for a period of time, and then all of a sudden, Emmanuel Petit was one, who for the first kind of 3 or 4 months he looked lost, and then all of a sudden he grew. He came up like a tree. But I would have thought that a home game against Fulham, the way they were going to set up, was a perfect opportunity to play Eamonn Smith-Rowe in one of those inside forward positions.
Yeah. Did you see any rumours, Eamonn? There's links with him going to Chelsea. And
I don't think that'll happen. I don't think we'd sell him. I don't think we'd sell him to them.
No, hopefully not, because he's a great player. But sorry, just touching on the Havertz thing there. It is perfect opportunity to play him there and see if it works out against Fulham. But I don't think it did. I don't know. You weren't at the game, Eamonn, on Sunday at the weekend, so I was only kind of looking at it from TV, but from my brother was at it and my dad was at it, but he kind of every kind of touch that Havertz misplaced or pass that he missed, there was grounds and that, and when that's happening earlier on in his career, it's not really fair to him. But I hope he turns around. I hope he goes on and scores a few goals and turns the Arsenal crowd in his favour, because he is a good player there. But I don't know if you would agree with me. Is he under more scrutiny because he's an ex-Chelsea player and because of the price tag?
I think it is. But you see, look, I've been following this mob since age 5.5 in 1971, and one thing we're known for is we always pick a player who's our favourite moaner and groaner. Like John Samuels. Have you ever watched the movie Fever Pitch? John Samuels gets a mention because oh no, not John Samuels again. And we had him with Granit Xhaka.
Yeah.
I was at games where fellas were actually, if Xhaka made a pass 20 metres to another player, said, "Oh, well done, Xhaka, you must be world class being able to make that pass." They were on his back for the entire game, even when he was playing well. So I just think there's a bit of a, moaning and groaning. We're quite good at that, Havertz is I always say, I know the German national team isn't pulling up trees at the moment, But if he's a first choice inside forward or centre forward, you know, as Terry Venables said, he's going to have something about him, you know. But you know, Paul Merson seems to think that playing him in that position is nuts, and that we should be playing him as a centre forward. And given that the type of game it was on Saturday, he mightn't be too far from the truth there, you know, with what we had available. Because Trossard at centre forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trossard's an inside forward, you know.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Trossard, but he was poor the weekend against Fulham. The worst game he's had for Arsenal. He's not only 10 out of 10, but Fabio Vieira as well done brilliant when he came on. You know, for last 20 minutes he came on, and I agree with you. Like his performance and coming off the bench on the weekend was kind of like, I want Havertz's spot. That's how good he was, you know. And he was like, I want to place in the team, and you know, he could have won it at the end. Where, you know, Leno, of course, the ex-keeper comes back to kind of haunt us. He made a very good save at the end. But you know, Fabio Vieira is an example for Havertz. He was written off by a lot of fans. You know, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. Blah blah blah. But there he is the weekend having a great.
Just before we finish that, I don't know whether I'm on camera or not. I can't see myself.
I can't see him. No.
Okay. You make that sound like a bad thing, but the thing about it is, I'm on the guest user thing. I can't get my own thing. That's because my computer.
We'll find some sort of emoji for you.
Yeah, that's okay. Just put Liam Brady.
Soften it, Barlow.
Just Beckham Barlow, yeah.
Just put Liam Brady up, you know. But but here's the thing I was trying to say earlier, right? The team yet is not playing with that spark, that belief that we can do things snappy and quick. Fabio Vieira, when he came on, played with that spark at the weekend.
Yeah.
Everything he did was snappy, you know.
He wanted to prove something, whereas you know the other players kind of moping around.
Yeah. I was at the Emirates Cup, lads, and I think I've said this to Eamonn in a couple of shows back. There was a hunger in him that night, you know. Like, he's starting to show that it's like he's ready for the step up now, you know. I thought he wants
to make things happen, Johnny. You know, he wants to create things, and
but you're seeing that this season, aren't you? Yeah. You know, like he sent that cross in for Nketiah for the second goal. You know, it was just a perfectly weighted ball. He's improving.
I think he might get 2 starts in the Champions League, and that might actually suit him because you know, European teams are maybe not as physical as the Premier League, but I think he will get games this year. But look.
But his speed. What I tell you, what I liked more than the assist was good. I loved the way he put on the jet burners going down the end line for the penalty.
Yeah.
Nobody expected him to do that. Nobody expected him to do that. But he just took it on in one stride and said, "I'm getting there," you know. And I like that. But look, you might
remember a lot more than me, anyway, because I was young enough at the time. But I was listening to the Handbrakers Off podcast. Ian Stone, the comedian, and Amy Lawrence does it. But Amy Lawrence was basically comparing Fabio Vieira to Freddie Ljungberg, saying that the first year he came to Arsenal, he struggled. Yeah. He didn't want to play on the wing, and maybe that's Fabio Vieira's position.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, I remember. I think Eamonn remember this in '98. It was 98, 99 season. He scored his first goal. It was against United. Remember, he chipped it over.
Yeah. He's only after coming on, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a legend there. So it probably just takes, you know, I think Fabio Vieira is a bit more about him than Ljungberg, you know. Like, he's...
well, no, hold on.
I still think the Calvin...
top 50 players ever to play for the club.
The Calvin Klein underwear done it for me with Ljungberg. I don't know about you.
Eamonn, there's only one reason that Johnny doesn't like Freddie Ljungberg is because he's the same hair as him.
If we could say about
your mohawk, Johnny.
I mean, you're right, Craig. I mean, again, you're a bit, you know, I don't know what age you were when all that was happening, but you know, in '98. But like, the thing about it is, you're right. Freddie played the central midfield for Sweden, right? And for Swindon, yeah. No, and that's where he saw his position, right?
Yeah.
But we see again, like, and we don't need to go talking into death. But when you have fellas who can drop into pockets like Dennis Bergkamp and then find a channel as an inside forward, Freddie was brilliant at timing runs, you know. And I think Vieira could do that. I think he could do it, you know.
Definitely.
I don't mind him being slight. I was thinking about that. Sure, look at David Silva and Bernardo Silva from Man City.
Yeah.
They're like, you know.
Yeah, you can see
they're like two very, very light guys, but they're well able to play, you know. And that's look.
He's still a bit lightweight, Fabio Vieira, but like that's something to work on as the season goes on, you know. Like he came for 34 million quid, you know, from Porto. I know Porto.
Just to make one more point on the Fulham game, just before we move on. Just Eamonn touched on the partnerships. I think that's been a big thing the last 3 games and why we haven't really been performing to basically compare to last year's, because the partnerships have been kind of, you know, broken apart. Zinchenko and Gabriel played together as a 2. White and Saliba were brilliant. You know, it was White and Saka. It was Zinchenko, Martinelli. You know, Odegaard, Xhaka. You know, they all linked up together. Jesus. So if you look at the 3 games and the players that we played, like, there's not much players that have much relationships there. So I think that's maybe why we haven't been playing as well as we should have, you know, maybe at this point. But I think the relationships from now to the end of the season might grow, and I think that's what the manager
absolutely
is trying to do.
Absolutely. I mean, he said himself, you know, come back to me after 55 games. You know, now obviously none of us want to wait for 55 games, but you could end up with Havertz playing somewhere else on the pitch. And for example, Partey coming back into favour in his anchor role with Rice in the Xhaka role. You could end up with something like that, you know. One of the ways we're suffering, by the way, is that Thomas Partey is the only player that we have that receives the ball from the defenders on the half turn.
Yeah.
Declan doesn't do that. And I warned you, I said it, Declan doesn't have that in his game at this point in time.
Yeah.
Right? And I think we're missing a small bit of that as well. You know, Partey was a great man for receiving the ball. See, our central defenders are now taking, don't use the Man United game as a gauge, but if you look at the game, our central defenders are now taking 8 to 10 touches on the ball before releasing it. Why is that? Well, it's because of what they see or don't see, right? Whereas Thomas Partey was a great man for running into a gap, right? Being able to receive the ball on the half turn. That means your defender's only taking 3 and 4 touches. They play it through the channel. He gets on the half turn and the whole game quickens up, right? We're taking 8 to 10 touches, then it's going sideways, and that nobody's getting turned. But look, again, I think Craig is bang on, as he normally is. Partnerships need to be given time to flourish. They can't just happen like Kate Barry. You know, they have to be given time, and you know, we've got to understand that. But look, I think Sunday will tell a lot. I think he'll go fairly conservative on Sunday. I think you might see Gabriel, and particularly given the comment that Craig made, which could well be right about the transfer deadline being done by Friday, you could well see White going out to the right, Partey going back into the middle, and Declan Rice going into where Granit Xhaka was. You could well see.
I hope he does, Eamonn, because I just, with the injuries and how bad United have been, you know, for the first 3 games, I don't see how they can live with us. I might eat my words here, but I just don't see how they can live with us if we.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was weird. It was weird because I watched the Man United Tottenham game. People said, "What are you hoping for?" I said, "Well, an earthquake down the middle of the pitch. No fatalities, just a few bad injuries, you know." But I watched that game, and for the first half, actually, United were really, really good, really good. The second half, they were absolutely abject, you know. I don't know whether you heard Roy Keane after after the game. He said, United have become the new Spurs. They become the new Spurs. They might be better off bringing on Frank Stable and Norman Whiteside. It was unbelievable stuff. But no. So they went. They're a bit Jekyll and Hyde, Man United. But when you get them, when they're good, and when they're bad, they're bad.
They're missing Varane, Mount, and Luke Shaw the weekend. So that defense is very weak.
Yeah. Well, look. Let's get the prediction out of the way quick, because I hate putting the mockers on the team. Yeah. Right? I think we might scratch it 2-1.
Who was your man of the match, lads, before we move on to United? Man of the match for Fulham, Eamonn, Vieira?
Yeah, Fabio Vieira. He did more in 35 minutes than any other player did in 95,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that myself. Yeah, he hands down.
He's only one.
Yeah. Fabio Vieira, yeah. Well done to him, yeah. Good start to the season for him, yeah.
Breaking news there, Johnny.
Sorry?
The breaking news, Saka was awarded the Young Player of the Year tonight for last year. And by the PFA, the Premier League Awards, and Saliba, Odegaard, Ramsdale, and Saka were in the Premier League Team of the Year.
Jeez. So it shows, many years have we seen that so many Arsenal players have made it, I think Evan Ferguson was fairly close to winning Young Player of the Year. Could be in line for it again this year, look, Bukayo Saka was just, the star boy, wasn't he, last season? Just absolutely. And again, this season, he started off, he's worth his weight in gold. There is no price tag for him at the moment.
No.
So we all say Fabio Vieira for man of the match against Fulham. So I suppose on to United. Preview Sunday 4:30. You're both going to this, lads, aren't you? United, they've won their 2 out of their first 3. They're saying that Forest 2 up after less than 10 minutes. Just an incredible start. Your man Wanley's had a great start for Forest, but United look so rattled at the back. I think if we, as you said, Craig, if we get at them the way we started games last season, I don't think United will live with us. I do agree with you there. I think we're better on them. I think we're better man for man as well. I think like Bruno Fernandes as captain is an odd one for me, because he's so selfish, and he gives out to players and doesn't even track back half the time himself. It's an odd one for me now, captain. But like, as long as you keep doing poorly, I'm happy with that. I don't think they'd be anywhere near the top 4 this season, United, personally. I don't think that's it's a poor enough team now. Well, you never know if your man Highland, 30, the striker, if he comes back after injury, he could end up being a 20-odd goal season striker. Just things you just don't know what way the season will play out. But we played these this time last year, funny enough. It's around the same time. Last 3-1 away. Martinelli's goal early on, do you remember, was disallowed. That could have changed the game, but I could see it different at home. It was a great game at home. I think you were probably at that one in January as well. Brilliant, we'd be happy enough with Nketiah to get a last-minute winner again. I'd probably it's very hard. The game is right. It's very hard to call these games, any game, because look what happened. We said we went for a win there for the Fulham, and it ended up being a draw, But you're always optimistic at home that you're down to win. And I think this is the first real test, you could say, with no disrespect to Forest, Palace and Fulham. This is where we should see the real Arsenal now, what to expect now with the transfer window firmly shut, with the Sunday game. We've got 4 months till the January window, and that should be used as a block, to see where your season is going. And I think this is the last game before the international break, so you'd want to end it kind of on a high, because then you've another 4 games, and then it's pretty much through to Christmas then. But I'd probably go with a narrow home win. I think it seems to be with our first 3 games, we'd probably go 2-1. Craig, how do you see the game going on Sunday yourself? You would only be at it, so it's going to be happy days, yeah?
Yeah. Look, I hope we go back to basics, if you want to call it basics. I hope they go back to the 4 at the back, and just put Royce in beside Partey. I think if we go to that formation, I can only see us winning if he plays, the Partey right back thing, and doesn't play party beside Rice. It could be a cricket, it could be 4 or 5 all sort of game. I think both defences are suspect at the moment. We were very good last year, but I don't know what's going to happen for the first 3 games. Maybe it's because the original back four isn't in there at the moment. But we should be beating this United team. You're saying about the first game of the weekend. That game was on right beside the Arsenal game. It was kind of watching both at the same time, really. And Man United were absolutely terrible. They were blessed to get that result against Forest. It wasn't a penalty on Rashford, in my view. It should have been a draw.
Yeah.
Forest missed a few opportunities as well to kind of win it on the break. So, if we don't get anything but 3 points on Sunday, I'll be really disappointed because it's not a good, strong United team. Whereas you'd say, a draw, you take a draw. I think we need to be beating these on Sunday, especially if we're, going for a league or whatever you want to call it. But I'd like to think we're going to get 3 points. Again, predictions. I hate doing these because I'm normally always wrong, but I think we'll score a few. I think we might concede on the counter because, to be fair to United, the likes of Rashford and that, they are good in the counter. And they're gonna come and try kick us off the park in the first half an hour like they did in America, because they were very aggressive, in your face. That's their tactics, and that's all they're going to be able to do to try and maybe ruffle our feathers, and piss the crowd off maybe. But if I had to predict the scoreline, I'd go 3-2 Arsenal, maybe like last year.
Yeah, it's just, Rashford always seems to score against us, doesn't he? You can never rule that out. Yeah. Eamonn, you're going to be at the game as well on Sunday. How do you see the game going yourself? Do you see this as the...
Look, I mean, I think, first of all, if you trace our home form back to March, we've been terrible. We've been conceding goals left, right and centre at home. But funnily enough, I think we're better against the bigger teams, right? Because we play what I'd call serious football. We don't have 76% of the ball, and players don't get into a comfort zone. And by the way, I'm not having a go with the players. It's very difficult when you play the game, when you're so much on top, to keep focused on everything. Because it's so easy for you. This will be different. This is a big game, and we've better players than they have, and we're at home. But of course, we'll have a Northwestern referee. I mean, I think every referee in the Premier League is from,
See who it is, Eamonn?
It's from between Salford and Preston, So,
it was announced today.
Who was it?
Anthony Taylor.
Oh, fuck.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, but actually, he's gone from one of the forces of darkness in my book to at least into purgatory, because he has actually given us a few decisions of late.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because Mike Dean has gone. I mean, anyway, sure, Mike Dean can phone him and tell him he made a great decision. And did you see that shite that was on the?
Yeah.
I didn't change the decision because I didn't want him to get grief. Anyway, look, Anthony Taylor. Okay, fair enough. I think he's Manchester, is he?
He is, yeah.
He is, yeah.
I think he's actually around Salford.
Yeah, Northwest again, Eamonn. Fucking.
Yeah. Anyway, look, let's go for the 2-1. But I'd like all our listeners to know, when I do, the only gambling that I ever do is an accumulator on a Saturday, and because I'm like the Pink Panther with a swarm of bees over my head, right? I never back Arsenal. Because I'm Jonah, I'm a hex, Yeah.
I like at the end of each betting ad, it says, when the fun stops, stop. I think that should be for Arsenal fans. When you've had enough. If
I went into Bargain Town, I'd get overcharged.
You seem to be doing fine on the cans of beer, Moretti. Yeah, so we're going for a home win. Yeah, happy days, and enjoy the game, lads, while they're there. It should be cracking. 4:30, you can't beat them Sunday afternoon games. Still don't know about the whole Peter Drury taking over Martin Tyler. Still not getting used to it. On to goal of the month, lads. For August, it's been a quick month. Probably mine has to be Bukayo Saka against Forest. A cracking goal and a great one to win it. Craig, your goal of the month for August?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. It was top wins. Yeah, that's definitely goal of the month. Yeah.
Yeah. Eamonn, goal of the month for you for August?
Just to do something different, and something you referenced yourself, Jonathan, earlier on. The speed of movement and control that Eddie Nketiah had on that finish from a whipped in cross, I thought was fantastic. And that's very hard to do. That's very, very hard to get that kind of contact on the ball. So I'm going to give it to Eddie,
I know match of the day, Gary Lineker and the crew there, they were saying that it was very Ian Wright-esque game, and he started. But I think it's wrong to put him in the mold of Ian Wright. He should be just given his own, shouldn't he? Like
he's been one of our best players this season so far.
Yeah, two goals in 3 games. Yeah, he's given Jesus a thing to think about, hasn't he? Yeah, so it's healthy competition for him. Yeah, player of the month. To be honest, I'm going to go for Fabio Vieira. I thought he started, I know he's come off the bench now, but I thought, as we were saying earlier on, he's made things happen in games that he's come on. And I thought Saturday's game against Fulham, when he came on, got us the penalty, and then the assist, obviously, for Eddie's goal. And the game I was at, the Monaco game in the Emirates Cup, he really impressed me as well. So I'm going to give it to Fabio Vieira for player of the month for August. Craig, your player of the month?
I'll go with Declan Rice. I think the 3 games he's played have been very good. Done nothing wrong, and I think he can only improve. Yeah,
he's had a solid 3 games, hasn't he? Yeah, he's fitted in really well. Eamonn, your player of the month for August?
For me, it's Eddie Nketiah.
Shoot, yeah.
Because not only it's not just about the couple of goals he got and the penalty that he won. He's also making chances for himself too. Like the one he hit the post against Palace off his left peg. I mean, he completely got on the turn and made that chance for himself. And that was very Ian Wright-esque. The way he got turned, So look, no, I'm going to give it to Eddie, and I think he's a boy that deserves it too.
It's refreshing as well, lads, isn't it? That picking 3 different players for player of the month, it shows how far the squad has come under Arteta. Yeah, for other months you'd be struggling. Just a quick look ahead to our September fixture list, lads. Obviously Man United on Sunday, then it's the international break, and then that's followed by Everton. It's down for the 16th on the Saturday at 5:30, but the Champions League fixtures could interrupt down. It could be on a Sunday if we're playing on the Wednesday. Then it's Spurs. Then the next weekend, that's the Sunday at 2:00. That game, and then Bournemouth, it finishes the month off away. That is at the end of September. So, the games come ticking fast, and Champions League football again, lads. After a 7-year wait, happy days. River Barbie kicking them nights, hopefully. Also, as I mentioned at the start of the show, lads, this Thursday, the 31st of August, Charles Watts releases his current Arsenal book, Revolution, The Rise of Arteta's Arsenal. Anyone around the Tonington Arms, he's going to be doing a book sign there from 4 p.m. Thoughts on the book, lads? Happy enough with the release, Craig?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all these kind of revolutionary books. I read the Emily one that was done a few years ago.
Yeah,
it was interesting enough. So I might put up my portraits and read on the beach on my next holiday next year, maybe.
Yeah, I know Eamonn is going to be writing one soon. He was telling me the meltdowns of Craig and Ian Gunnery. What do you make of that, Eamonn? Are you looking forward to it?
No. I like a book that's not just a biography. I like something different. Amy herself has done a couple of good ones,
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for my own book to come out, Jonathan, in October.
There's
the book of Liam. The book of Liam is coming out in October. I'm going to be in Eason's, Bill.
We hope to have him on the show at some point. Yeah, we're still waiting on Ian Sally to come on. So Ian, if you're listening, get your arse on this podcast.
Yeah.
we need the ratings to jump quite quickly. In terms of Eamonn, the Dublin Arsenal supporters clubs. Tickets are, I suppose, as we said, they're going to be at a premium now, aren't they? If anything.
Yeah, but they are. But you see,
Yeah.
supporters are fickle. You know, I mean, if we ended up kind of, you know, in 7th and 8th place, you know, I wonder would the demand be as high. But let's not. People want to go to watch the Arsenal now. It's a good watch,
Yeah.
and all of that. But we're oversubscribed. We're not going to take in any more members. I think I'm not sure the absolute date, but it's coming soon. And as you know, everybody has to be a member of Arsenal Football Club to get a ticket. So
yeah, that's not the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club. It's actually Arsenal.
It has to be a red member or a silver member. Yeah.
So yeah, it's strict times now. Being a member now, yeah. But that's the price you pay when you're doing so well, yeah. Anything else, lads? You like mentioned football wise or Arsenal wise or anything else?
Oh, I think we've covered pretty much everything. Sorry to the listeners for my breakdown in technology, but when I was trying to log in, I could hear Craig. What's the word? Improvising and keeping the show on the road. So fair play to you, Craig. You did well, boy. You did well. You know. The sing is out.
Yeah, we're done. I'll let you in now when I mentioned the usual Eamonn. So, as always, you can catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. Thanks to Martin Stumble for editing, and without him, there would be no show. So, thanks very much, Martin.
I'm not sure. The Eamonn here is just we wish the Aussie well, Eamonn. Just and it's not next week. We hope he's doing okay.
We'll see Aussie maybe at the weekend. It's a great addition to the show, and hopefully he'll be back.
The door's always open for them because with all the P45s issued week on week, you have to have someone replace.
There's only one song to sing us out on, Jonathan.
I don't let you in now in a minute, Eamonn, if you give me. I was rudely interrupted.
I want you to join me.
You can catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel as always. Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Check out our sister show Beyond the Last Man with Martin. It should be back up in the next couple of weeks. Check out our sponsors, Spanning Sports Direct and LUCAN Housekeeping Services. Check out our friends at justarsenal.com. Pat McLaughlin, thanks very much. And join the crew in the official supporters bar, the River Bar in Dublin City Centre. And as promised, Eamonn's on to sing us out. Take it away.
Join us. All right, on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. More than a woman. More than a woman to me. Ba-doo, ba-doo, boo.
Well, I was definitely not expecting that one.
That's for Nuno.
More than a Nuno.
See you later, lads.
Take a name and
okay.
thanks for this. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks, lads. Thanks for this.
Look.